Is Mossad dangerous? Indeed they are. Powerful, cunning. The intelligence agency of Israel is no one to be trifled with. They have assassinated before, and they will certainly do it again. So with that being said, does Theo Von run the risk of being assassinated by Mossad or any function of Israel? No, just literally no. And this is the craziest thing in the world. I thought he was joking. Legit, thought he was joking. But Theo Von has really crossed that line. And I know, you know what? There's going to be a lot of the anti-Israel people are going to lose it. I'm not playing this game. I don't know where Nick Fuentes stands on this one. They started posting almost immediately. They, as in many personalities, including people like Ian Carroll. I like Ian, but man, this crossed the line, right? Right after Charlie Kirk was killed, they blamed Israel for it. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. It wasn't Israel that was posting foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's death and gloating about it. It was a bunch of obvious trans individuals, and they've been like doxxed. So you know who they are. And there are questions about the vehicles at the apartment of this alleged assassin, the chats they were in. Guys, holy crap. I don't think that the FBI story they've given us is the complete information. And there seems to be a lot of holes and a lot of questions that I and many other people have. But holy crap, that they would just immediately blame Israel for it. Now, invariably, there will be an inundation of spam blasts on this video about how I'm paid by Israel or supporting Israel. I don't give two craps about Israel at all. Literally don't. I'm not an evangelical. I am not Jewish. I don't think the U.S. should be supporting them. Tucker Carlson did a great segment talking about THAAD missile batteries that were being left in Israel unaccounted for, and we're wasting our money, and we shouldn't be giving this money. And I'm sitting here being like, boy, oh boy, that money could be going to defending our border and dealing with cartels. I don't care about Israel, nor do I want our money going to them. But that doesn't matter, because all of these people have just gone nuts. So I'll say it before I play this clip from Theo Von. I thought it was a joke, and then I saw the reactions to everything. And you may have heard that Theo Von was reportedly suicidal. He's rejected those claims, saying it's not true. But there have been numerous reports that he was at a show and he said he was trying hard to take his own life. He has now done this episode, which came out just the other day. In it, he says that he is not suicidal, Israel, as if he genuinely thinks Israel's going to suicide him. Theo Von, I nor you, neither of us are near important enough to be on the radar of Mossad, okay? This is where we are with the level of Israel derangement syndrome, okay? And I will say this again, before I play this clip directly from his own show, please criticize Israel. Do it with my blessing. Make all the videos in the world about why you don't like Israel. Point out the reports that they're paying influencers $7,000 per post. That's scummy. And anybody who takes that money should be rightly called out and insulted for being paid to support a government. That's ridiculous. I got to tell you guys, I know a lot of people in the administration. I was friends with them before they became the administration. And when I get messages from some of these guys and they're like, hey, you want to push this out? I largely just say no. If the story is good and it matters, we'll talk about it. Otherwise, no. I want to play this clip for you from Theo Von's show and then talk about the reaction to this, which is insane. When I first saw this clip where Theo Von insinuates that Israel may want to kill him, I tweeted, is he joking? Like, honestly, I can't tell. Here's the clip.
You know, what's going like, did I steal somebody's horse? Did I hit somebody with a vehicle? You know, I have no idea. It was just kind of alarming. And then a buddy of mine sent me a clip and I could just see the outside. And it was like, you could see me on stage. And then people were asking me about suicide. And I was like, oh God, and I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I can certainly see me saying something like, oh, just try not to take my own life, Which
is reportedly what he said. I think I have it here. The quote was, he was saying he was having a long month and that he was trying not to take his own life.
Which I understand it's not a joke to some people, right? It's not a joke to me. But it is something that I'll say stuff sometimes. I say stuff, right? You know that. If you've listened to this show before or seen anything, you know I say stuff. I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life.
What?
I'm grateful to God for his grace in my life. I love my siblings. I have so many friends and people that love me and people that I want to see their children grow up. I'm hopeful that I get to have a wife and meet my own children one day. Like, there's a ton of things in my life that keep me alive and hopeful, right? I want to be able to have an impact in the world. Those are just a few of them, probably, you know? I mean, so many just moments we've shared on this show that I'm like, oh, I live for those things, you know? I mean, I want to see Vandy win a championship. So
Okay, so I think you get the general gist of the context here. It doesn't appear to be a joke. Maybe he was joking. It's possible. And I don't want to drag him if that was the case. However, the general reaction from his fans and online is that he wasn't joking. He's making a very serious video where he's talking about how he did this show in New York. It bombed. People were saying that he was suicidal, and he wants to address those concerns. So the presumption amongst most people is that he's not joking when he says the Israel thing. And I guess the bigger issue is that whether or not it was a joke isn't necessarily what matters. It appears not to be. Fine, maybe it is. But the reaction to it is plumb nuts. Now, I will say this. I definitely want to talk about the Israel paying people thing. That'll come up in just a second. But I responded by saying this. Is he joking? Because it's an honest question. Grim Calls on X, I don't know who this is, 36,000 followers, says, Theo Von on the recent suicidal rumors, quote, I would never take my own life. Okay, you hear that, Israel? And we'll take a look at this post and see what the reactions were first. One person, Gen Z Patriot, says, crazy that in 2025 you have to make a public disclaimer letting people know if something happens to you, it was Israel. No, you're just psychopaths. Wild times, bro. Why does the video jump? He's got two cameras, and you can see he turns and looks. They do that because it allows for easier editing. And at first, I thought it was fake. Cartier family says, oh, wow, what is going on? This person, Nuck, says, I'm not suicidal if I die. It was Theo Von. Haha. Captive Dreamer says, safer to criticize Israel than mass migration. Says it all, doesn't it? America forever. Stuff like this is going to make me become a Zionist. Israel does not care about this guy. Seriously. Some have said he was lying because he actually did say that he was trying to take his own life. To be fair, I think Theo Von may have been joking about being suicidal because we don't actually know what he was doing on this show. He doesn't seem to be depressed or anything. And often people use hyperbole like, man, every day, just try not to, you know, I understand. I actually think he's being honest when he says, I was just like using an extreme rhetoric as hyperbole, right? This, Blakely says, it's actually pretty disturbing that American citizens are having to regularly say this. No, they aren't. Y'all are just insane people, okay? Holy crap. And look at the responses when I asked if he was joking. This is why I think it's largely fake. It's largely bots. There's reports that Israel is paying influencers. That is cringe and creepy. And there's reports that Qatar is paying. I don't know which one is true. I don't know if either is true. But holy crap, let me just say, under penalty of perjury, I am not paid by any foreign government and never have been. So to all those crackpots being like, what about Russia, Tim? That was fake. And the case was dropped and there was never any evidence. You guys are just insane. Now, let me tell you, Israel is reportedly paying people. I think they do. There are reports of a bunch of influencers who got paid to promote India. They got like $1,000 to do so. Cringe. I would never take that. Never do. India, you suck. Israel, you suck. Qatar, you suck. Russia, you suck most of all. I did that as a joke. They all suck. America, you're the best. Oh my God. People live in the stupidest realities. You know what, man? I don't know. Comment below. You tell me what you think, but I'm giving you my thoughts on this. Look at this. Laura Loomer says he went to Qatar and it rotted his brain. This is real. I didn't know this was true. I was like, wait, did he really go and like wear like the Qatari garb and all that stuff? Like the Arabic. Okay, I guess. It reflects the heat and it's breathable. It's great in the desert. Ashton Forbes says they lost their minds to him. It's really sad to watch. This schizo Israel stuff mentally captured a lot of people. I didn't realize how bad it was until the Charlie Kirk situation. I really hope Theo and others get help. I'm going to say something about the Charlie Kirk situation. That's going to get people mad at me, but I'm going to say it. I'm here at TPUSA, and we went live yesterday for this really awesome show, Jack Posobiec and Andrew Colvett, Thought Crime. It was a show that he and Charlie did together every Thursday at 8 p.m. We went live on Timcast IRL. We went live on Thought Crime. We went live on Charlie Kirk's channel. I didn't know Charlie Kirk nearly as well as most of these guys. I knew him, and there are a handful of people that they're not just people you work with in business. And maybe it was just I don't know, but I considered Charlie a friend. He had been to my studio on numerous occasions, been on the show. He had helped me with business stuff. He had invited us out and moved mountains for us to get Timcast IRL at TPUSA, and it was a privilege and an honor. And TPUSA is so much bigger than us, so much bigger than Timcast. I mean, like, seriously, $83 million in revenue. And to me, it felt like the lengths Charlie went to help us do our show. He let us do Timcast IRL from his own personal studio. I got to sit in his chair. He wasn't just doing it because it was business, because it wasn't the biggest thing for his business. We were much smaller than he is, a much bigger show. He did it because our success was his success, the success of the movement and the success of the people around him and the people that he believed in. That's why so many people viewed him as a friend, because it wasn't about the money. It wasn't like if I do this, we're going to succeed here. It was how can I help you out, brother? And that's what friends do. And so maybe, he was just like, this is what I want to do to succeed. But that's why so many of us considered him friends. Like, I text him, he'd answer right away. With that being said, and I want to read more of these posts, there are people that believe Israel took out Charlie Kirk, and that is insane. So much so that even Nick Fuentes is saying that's ridiculous. Charlie Kirk was actively trying to turn Gen Z pro-Israel. There are some people that believe it was an inside job, or that he's alive, or that. Let me just tell you about these conspiracy theories. I just want to say two things. And some people might get mad at me for this, but I think I need to say it because there's a lot of people that are like, if they're not going to address what's going on, the people are going to, okay, I'll be honest with you because I'm not part of Turning Point USA. They're just friends. Jack is a good friend. And they might get mad. I'm saying this again, okay? But I hope they understand why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Because there's some risks involved. First of all, Israel did not kill Charlie Kirk. I have been in these studios. I have seen the people. I have seen their reaction. I have seen people struggling not to break down in real time. There are theories that they're not behaving properly. They're not grieving enough. And I'm like, dude, everybody's trying to get by day by day. What are we supposed to do? Are the people here supposed to go just hide in a hole and disappear for a month and cry and stay off camera? I have seen some of these guys. I have seen these top guys off camera when we're talking about it start to choke up. They are fighting every day to maintain their composure. And but you were joking last night and you were wearing silly hats and playing funny music because you take it day by day. I mean this sincerely. You guys see me. We did that Culture War show. And I was like, almost started crying again thinking about what happened to Charlie. It's tough. And I consider him a friend, but I didn't even know him as well as Jack and these other guys. Israel did not kill the guy. They are worse off because of it. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe. And the reason I say this is all in these comments are people like, look what they did to Charlie. You are psychopaths. And I am so pissed off about this because I want to know who did it. And I think the information we've got from the FBI is incomplete, and it's for obvious reasons. They're not going to give us all the information. Perhaps a cover-up, I don't know. But I believe that there were more people involved in this than they're letting on. And I think that some of these theories are valid. Like, what was the involvement of the boyfriend? Was the message between them scripted? Were there more people who helped organize this that they are not telling us about? Was there an organization behind this that provided funding? And was the story that we are given the first layer of the let me tell you this. The FBI investigates, they find the evidence, and they say, when you hear hooves, you think horses, not zebras. But premeditated murder accounts for this. So it may be that we're seeing these inconsistencies because there may be something beyond that facade. I don't know. But to the people who are claiming inside job and security did it and all this stuff, there are people that are like, look how big, Turning Point's getting. I'm going to tell you guys something that's going to piss people off, okay? They are in trouble without Charlie. Nobody wants to say it. Turning Point USA is in trouble without Charlie. And everybody wants to maintain this positive morale because Charlie was the captain. He was a generational leader and hero. People are saying things, oh, it's going to be bigger but better than ever. We're getting so much new interest. I hope. I do. But I'll tell you, they are in serious trouble without Charlie. The idea that Israel killed Charlie because he was turning on Israel and that they're going to put someone in his stead, nope. There is fear. Nobody wants to admit it because they don't want to tell their donors and they don't want to tell their supporters that there is a concern they can't maintain the ship. Nobody wants to. You can't. It's bad sales. But this is the truth. And I hope, my friends understand why I'm actually saying this. These conspiracies are going to fester and they're going to continue. And some of them I'm actually okay with because I actually agree with some of them. The messages don't make sense. They're creepy, seem scripted. There seems to be other involvement we're not being told about. But the people that are claiming inside job or Israel, it's like, guys, this isn't helping. This actually is creating doubt and making it harder for us to track down what really happened. So let me just wrap that point up as I read more of this and not go off on a tangent about Charlie Kirk. But I think there is real concern over whether or not they can succeed to the same degree. And I personally fear that Turning Point may become, it'll exist, it'll be around, it'll be successful, but it won't be what it was meant to be, and it may wane a little bit. I don't know that's true, and I know everyone's trying to maintain confidence in morale, so nobody wants to admit this, that they needed Charlie. So guys, whoever did this was attacking the MAGA movement, was attacking the most pro-Israel Gen Z guy. Okay, actually, he was a young millennial. So we'll see. I don't know everything, but that's just what I think. This person says, first MTG, now Theo. Seems like that's the new script. I'll defend MTG on this one because she was talking about the Epstein files and various powerful people or governments. I'm sure Israel is included in that, but I don't think she was singling out Israel. He also said the Mossad loves Theo Von. Theo actually makes Israel look good with his grift being so cringy. Joel Berry says the Rachel Maddow glasses really complete the look. Here we go. This is Dan Clements. This is Israel derangement syndrome. I'm not a super pro-Israel guy. Israel has had a real issue from a PR standpoint as far too many of its supporters come off as pushy and gatekeepy to the point that it's annoying and standoffish. Oh, look, here's someone who made an image of a picture of me when I was 25 years old as a puppet controlled by Netanyahu. Because this is the weird conspiracy nonsense. The guy critical of a group of people that are well known for assassinating, blackmailing, and bribing people. Nah, I don't think he's joking. This absolutely tracks to anyone not paid by Israel. Or just psychopaths who think Israel is the controller of the world. I think Mossad does all those things, but Theo Von certainly ain't on that list, dude. Someone said he is a comedian and he doesn't take money from Israel, so he's free to joke and criticize them. Fair point. You can tell who took the $7,000 per episode and who didn't. I actually love this meme. When people post things that are like, there are some posts where, like, bro, Tucker Carlson was right when he pointed out we're giving too much money to Israel, like these THAAD missile batteries. And then there's been some people criticizing Tucker Carlson, and the response is all like, he got the $7,000. I don't think they actually all did, but come on, dude. When Tucker comes out, like, I have always been critical of the foreign funding of foreign countries, be it Ukraine, Israel, Afghanistan, Iraq, whatever it may be. When Tucker is like, why are we giving all this money to Israel? What are they doing with it? I'm like, hey, that's a great question. I hear Brendan Tatum had a commentary where he says that money goes back to American contractors. And I say, a fair point. That context should be provided. But still, the money that goes to Israel can go to defending our own border. So, USS Liberty, Tim, can you talk about it? Are you allowed? Indeed, I am allowed to talk about the USS Liberty. But you guys share fake videos, fake memes to make it look like I don't let people talk about it because you're retards. You are a retarded person. And I feel bad for other retards because you certainly make them look bad. You should know you sat with Netanyahu. Indeed, I did, because I'm not a retard. But you are. I got no problem calling them retards. Did you see what happened to Charlie the minute he disagreed with them? You mean when he was organizing, watch the videos, he was organizing sit-downs with Gen Zs to be like, hey, Israel's great. Man, I don't even support Israel. These people are so stupid. He must have turned down the 7K. Indeed. What's underneath that hat, Tim? Is it an even smaller hat? No, it's skin and hair on the sides. Check this out. This is legit. I've seen numerous reports about this. I don't know the extent to that it is confirmed or credible. Seems to be legit. Israel is paying people $7,000 per post. There's actually other reporting that another organization was set up by American FARA agents, people registered under FARA, to create pro-Israel content on social media. I find it all to be very cringe. But I think it is fair to point out that foreign governments do engage in propaganda endeavors as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to find out that the Qatar reporting is true and they're anti-Israel. In a meeting dedicated to harnessing pro-Israel media energy on Friday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu alluded to a cohort of Israel's influencers. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers, I think you should also talk to them, blah, blah, blah. Being paid by Israel to post on social media is also very lucrative. According to previously unreported recent documents, these influencers are likely being paid around $7,000 per post on social media, such as TikTok and Instagram, on behalf of Israel. Israel sucks. I don't get paid by Israel. I don't get paid by any country. I've never taken money from any foreign government. I've never taken money from the U.S. government. And I don't know. Check our sponsors. You can look at who our sponsors are. Maybe someone's going to be like, Tim, this sponsor is actually from the U.S. government. Okay, yeah, I don't know. We have sponsors. I'm relatively strict. I think I'm not, but sometimes I am. Bridge Partners, a firm working with the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, sent a series of invoices for its influencer campaign to Havas Media Group Germany, an international media group working for Israel. These invoices detailed a sum of $900,000 starting in June, slated to end in November, for a cohort of 14 to 18 influencers to create content. Do we know who those influencers are? I don't care about your stupid newsletter. The document, which is filed under FARA, notes that funding for both its payments for influencers and production does not provide a breakdown between the two. Blah, blah, blah. Leaves an estimated $552,000 for the influencers between June and September. Holy crap. Well, I don't want the money. I don't need the money, and I wouldn't take the money. Nope. To be fair, we do have a deal with Rumble. I don't know, but a deal with a private corporation is totally different. That's where they play the stupid Russia games. They're like, Tip, you got paid by Russia. No, I got paid by an American company to license my content to an American company. I can't track down the funding of every single company all the time, and no one else looks into that. But more importantly, it was fake. The DOJ, it was likely political, targeting right-leaning influencers who are moderate and supporting Trump, because they dropped the case in December, literally like a month and a half after they announced it. Or I think that was like 2 months after they announced it. And then formally in April. And the Democrats play stupid games with like, it's because Trump is dropping it. Yeah, it was dropped before Trump got in. Clearly political. And I take issue with the political games these people played. I think it's time we recognize what time it is. I got no problem pointing out how creepy this is, but I understand why they're doing it. I think Israel is Israel's fine, whatever, I guess. I think with the war in Gaza, I've got some serious criticisms. I have no problem pointing out October 7th and talking about Hamas, and they're nasty. But war is war. And two countries that are not America at war ain't none of my business, except for the fact the U.S. funds Israel. And I oppose that. I oppose the U.S. giving money to foreign countries, spend money on ourselves. But I've been to Tel Aviv. I think it's a nice and lovely place. I understand why people in Israel feel the way they do and why pro-Israel people feel the way they do. And I have no problem having a conversation with pro or anti-Israel people. But I do think it's funny that the anti-Israel people basically vomit in their own mouths in just a psychotic fervor. Theo Von, Israel. I have to assume he's joking. I'm sorry. I just do. So there you go, my friends. I don't know. I hate these stupid Israel posts. It's funny. Someone commented like, Tim, can you go one day without talking about Israel? We never talk about Israel. Like, we haven't talked. When was the last time we even brought it up? I don't even remember. I hate making videos about Israel too, because I just literally don't care. I care as much about Israel as I do about Burma or Tibet. I care more about Taiwan, I guess. At least Taiwan is like Asian, and I'm like part Asian or something. I don't know. Whatever, man. I don't even know why I made this video. I'll leave it there. Smash the like button, share the show, stay tuned. We're coming back for Timcast IRL tonight. We'll see you all in the next segment.